शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभाङ्गं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्.
We often assume that faith and reason are parallel lines that never meet. But what happens when a straightforward, logic-driven IAS officer is placed in charge of the richest, most mystical temple administration in the world? I just finished reading the book when I saw Tirupati Balaji, originally called in Telugu as Sarvsambhavam Naham Karta Hari Karta, by the late PVRK Prasad, and it is not only a memoir, but also a transformation arc. It is the story of a man who walked into the Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, TTD, thinking he was the administrator, only to realize he was merely an instrument of the Lord Srinivasa residing in the hills of Tirumala. PVRK Prasad, 1941 to 2017, was a distinguished IAS officer of the Andhra Pradesh cadre, 1966 batch, best remembered for his dynamic tenure as the executive officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanams, TTD. He later rose to national prominence as the media advisor and additional secretary to Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao. A bridge between governance and spirituality, he authored the best-selling memoir Naham Karta, Hari Karta, documenting his divine experiences at Tirumala Tirupati Balaji. He was instrumental in launching several key TTD initiatives. He passed away to meet the Lord in Vaikuntha in August 2017, leaving behind a legacy of a truly dharmic administration. The book, When I Saw Tirupati Balaji, covers Prasad Garu's tenure as the executive officer of TTD from 1978 to 1982. This wasn't a peaceful time, it was a period of strikes, political volatility, and water scarcity and several other challenges that Prasad Garu had to face and mitigate arduously and efficiently. Yet, amidst the chaos of files and red tape, Prasad Garu documents moments where the files and problems faced by him were seemingly cleared by a power way beyond the government. One of the most fascinating aspects of this book is how it humanizes the giants of Indian history, showing their personal relationship with the divine. Prasad Garu writes extensively about his mentor, the scholar-statesman and late Prime Minister of India, Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao, who has evidently also written foreword for this book. Long before he became the Prime Minister who liberalized India's economy, Rao was a guiding force for Prasad. The book reveals Rao not just as a politician, but as a deeply spiritual man who understood that the TTD executive officer's chair was a crown of thorns. He often advised Prasad on how to balance the pressures of the state with the sanctity of the temple. This balance was tested during the visit of the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, when she visited the Tirupati Balaji temple in 1979. The book narrates a high-tension episode that reads like an adventure. Mrs. Indira Gandhi, at that time, was having a strenuous relationship with the Chief Minister of the state. Prasad Garu was busy in day-to-day activities and preparations of her visit amidst all that. The way this situation resolved, where the protocol had to bow down to the ritual without bruising the ego of the state, is a masterclass in diplomacy, or perhaps, divine will. For me, the most heartwarming chapter belongs to the Queen of Carnatic Music, M.S. Subbulakshmi, the only female musician to have won the prestigious Bharat Ratna Award, and praised by first Prime Minister of India, late Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru as Queen of Music. She is also regarded as incarnation of Goddess Saraswati. Today, when we wake up to the Suprabhatam or listen to the Vishnu Sahasranamam, we hear M.S. Subbulakshmi's voice. M.S. Subbulakshmi and her husband Mr. Kalki Sadashivam belonged to humble backgrounds. Prasad narrates the struggle to convince M.S. Subbulakshmi to record the Telugu musical masterpieces for the TTD. She was hesitant, humble to a fault initially, but somehow by Lord Srinivasa's intervention, she was ready to render her voice to the vocals and immortalized them. Prasad's perseverance in convincing her, and the eventual recording session where she poured her soul out, is touching. He describes her not as a celebrity, but as a devotee who feared she wasn't worthy. The book immortalized the moment the TTD decided to broadcast her voice daily, a tradition that continues to echo in the hills of Tirumala today. In 1979, Tirumala was facing a catastrophic drought. The water had run out, and the shrine was on the verge of closing down for pilgrims, an unthinkable disaster. The onus of doing something was on Prasad Garu. Desperate, Prasad Garu, after trying everything else, turned to the Vedic Pandits to perform the Varuna Japam, a chant to invoke the rain god. The narrative here is cinematic. You have the scientists on one side and the priests on the other. The sky was clear blue. And then, as the Japam concluded, the heavens opened up. It didn't just rain, it poured specifically over the catchment areas. Evidently, there was no rain nearby, at Tirupati, which was just downhill visible from Tirumala Hill, Renigunta, Kalhasti or Chandragiri, all nearby locations. The rains only battered Tirumala hills. This incident is presented as the turning point for Prasad Garu's own self, the moment the IAS officer and the administrator waned, and the devotee was born. The book isn't just about stories, rituals or experiences, it is also about the philosophy of service. This shift in the author's mindset is largely credited to Swami Ranganathananda of the Ramakrishna Mission, which was started by disciples of Swami Ramakrishna Paramhansa, most famous being Swami Vivekananda and Swami Brahmananda. In the chapter A Swami's Faith Moves Seven Hills, Swami Ranganathananda requested for a sum of money for developing Ramakrishna Math in Hyderabad. Prasad Garu was caught up between the state chief minister and his duties as TTD executive officer to render help on this matter. Yet again Lord Srinivasa came to his rescue. Prasad Garu, as part of this book, mentions meeting several eminent gurus of Sanatan Dharma including Swami Chidananda of Sivananda Ashram, Rishikesh, Chinmay Nanda Swami, Satya Sai Baba, Vidya Prakasnanda Swami of Sukha Brahma Ashram, Peeth Adhipatis of Kachi and Sringeri, Lingayat Swamijis, Swamis of Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, and Gurus of Radha Swami Satyasangas, members of Vishwa Hindu Parishad etc. All the chapters of the book end with something like, which power prompted me to act in this way, or which power orchestrated it, the event that was covered in that chapter with a lot of difficulty. The title of the original Telugu version of this book, Naham Karta, Hari Karta, translates to I am not the doer, the Lord is the doer. This book is impactful because PVRK Prasad does not preach. He simply presents the evidence. He starts as a man worried about files, labor unions, and VIP visits, and ends as a man who understands that he is just a temporary custodian of an eternal phenomenon. Whether you are a devotee of Lord Tirupati Balaji or simply someone interested in the administrative history of India, this book is a gem. It reminds us that sometimes, when logic reaches its limit, faith begins. Hare Srinivasa. Hare Krishna.